Very welcome at this session of the Circle of Resilience, where I get to talk and be with Anne. I will introduce her to you later, but for this moment, we start with taking a little time to ourselves. So I love to start with like warming up my hands. It's pretty cold here in the Netherlands. We've had a lot of snow and freezing temperatures. So I like to do this, get this feeling of how I am able to like be my own energy source. And bringing my hands together makes me, I don't know, it brings me to myself, and I get a little bit warm and I can feel my hands opening up, the palms of my hands. So I take a moment for that. And then you can hold your hands a little bit apart, and you can feel how the energy is still there. And you can close your eyes if you want to, or you can keep them open. Keep them close to yourself. And then you bring your hands to different parts of your body to bring that energy and that warmth, taking care of yourself. Maybe you have been watching the screen a lot already, and it's nice to kind of rest your eyes a little bit. Or maybe your knees and your feet have been carrying you all day. It's like taking a moment to say welcome to yourself. And then I invite you to put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, on your womb space. And then we take three deep breaths together. And the first one, breathing in all the things that have already been, things that you've done today or yesterday or this past month or year. And breathing out, you let go of them. There's nothing you can do in this moment. And then the second breath, you breathe in everything that has caught your attention toward the future, your lists, plans, things you worry about, and you let them go. And the third breath is a breath that we take together to celebrate this moment of connection, of being together, of realizing that this breath is taken by so many people in the world in the same moment, making us all connected. And then you let go this breath. And what comes up for me in this moment is also gratitude. Gratitude for breathing freely. So you stay in this kind of silent space, and then I will light a candle. A candle for us and for our coming together, a candle for you who's listening or is watching, wherever you are, and for the light that so many people are willing to carry and bring into the world, and in small and big ways make a change, to live from the heart, to live authentic lives, to live resilient lives. So that light is shining for all of us. Mm. Yeah, and then I am so happy to have this time together with you, Anne. And we have not known each other for very long. We came together through a course with Lynn Twist. And I think the first moment that we kind of connected was when we shared something about our healing dolls. Yours, you wrote something on the site, I think, on Facebook, and I wrote something back about my felt healing dolls, and you have ones that you make with all sorts of material and fabric, and then we found each other in a group that is coming together every 2 weeks on Awakening Women. And yeah, and when I was feeling into this global version, you just came to mind, and I thought, oh, I love how you have this calm energy, and I know that you've been through a lot. You know, life is not handed on a golden platter. But still you have this amazing ability of see the magic and beauty and, yeah, the wonder of life, and I really resonate with that. So I thought, yeah, I'll check in to see if you want to join. So, and here we are. So
Yeah,
very, very welcome.
yeah, lovely. Thank you, Marika. It's a joy to be connecting with you in this way, and I'm grateful that we met through our doll making and creativity. There's something there that
Mm,
sparks a lot of joy for me. So yeah, it's good to be here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we talked a little bit beforehand about, ways going into resilience or ways towards resilience, um, or sinking into resilience. There's so many. I don't know. It's a moving field. It's not a container where you just, like, you check the box. You flow towards it, or you, and it's also about making a choice. And I think that you've really made a choice to cultivate your sense of resilience. Do you want to share something about that?
Sure. Yeah, I see resilience as a work in progress.
Mm,
I'm always looking for those ways that will bring me back into balance, and I generally keep a fairly optimistic view of life, which is part of my resilience, to hold the belief that everything is happening in perfection and that we are always supported where we are. And that has helped me to hold things that are sometimes difficult to hold,
mm,
and look for those ways that keep me curious and engaged, and not taken down by the pieces that are challenging.
mm,
So, one of the things that I had mentioned to you that really um, has supported me for years now is engaging in creativity. So, using my imagination and allowing the creative flow of energy through me to use my hands and put something outside of me that then I can engage in even more, to see what message that brings. We don't always know, right, what our creations are going to look like or feel like.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I I recognize that. Yeah. But what I always feel is that you come from such a calm place from that. Like you that, yeah, maybe you feel it differently, but you never feel rushed or like mm, like it has to be done. It rather feels that you come from a place of that you're relaxed, and then and then it has to come, but it's not like you know it's a different kind of movement.
Yes, and um, that has been a long um, road of inner exploration. I haven't always operated that way. For me, um, I spent many years of my life pushing into life, trying to make things happen, which can be effective, right? That um, we can will things to happen and work really hard for them to happen, um, and yet it takes a toll,
Mm,
that forcing life to happen the way that our minds think that it should happen. And I learned over a number of or through a number of experiences that that way works, but was no longer comfortable for me. I couldn't keep moving in that way through life because I was exhausting myself.
mm,
And what I found worked better was to be still and to listen to what comes through and allow that to guide me.
mm,
And that way, I am not pushing into life, but I am pulled by life. I'm pulled into those things that make my heart sing. And though I had previously thought that that way that I would lose patience with that,
mm.
or that that way was not as effective, or um, didn't get things accomplished as quickly as my mind would like. It really is such a more magical way to be in life, is to be still and listen, because so much of the richness comes through in that, and so many more messages and teachings come from simply paying attention and
Mm.
being guided.
Yeah, yeah. And I think these times are really challenging for people to, because there's so much uncertainty that it's almost too scary to sit and listen. Like we're collectively trying to keep up with all the changes, where in effect you're kind of depleting yourself with trying to keep up, because um, you can't keep up. Because that's the essence of change and uncertainty. You just don't know. So then to have the courage also to become still and listen and let it come to you in a way, or show itself to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is about relinquishing my control over what will happen.
Mm,
And there's a beauty in that, because we think that we know what will happen, but that's all our thought process. It's misleading. We'd like to think that we know what's happening, or that there is certainty in the world, but in reality we don't know what's going to happen moment to moment. And to embrace that uncertainty, and um, and really sit in that place and still hold hope, you
mm,
know that there's that active hope that's happening, but to be able to know that there's magic before us, and that we get to discover moment to moment what is going to unfold to us.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love how you do that when you share something about how you go into the forest and you have the little doors in the trees. And so it's because I it is also you have also made a decision to, it's not, um, it also, so from this relaxed space we need to also come into action, but it's like a more inspired action,
Mhm.
and then so would you like to share a little bit about how you have come to that decision to like consciously keep inviting it into your life?
So, yeah, so I think that, I mean, we've all had difficult things that have happened in our lives and traumas and whatever that might be for you individually. Um, and I needed to make the decision early on that I was going to be taken down by it or that I was going to rise above it.
Mm,
And it was a very clear decision to me which way I wanted to go um, because I see what happens to people who go down with it. And it can be a spiraling energy. And for me, to choose the other way, to choose to have gratitude for all of it, even the traumas and the tragedies, we don't get to pick and choose. We have gratitude for life in its entirety, or we have no gratitude because it's kind of that's how I see that fork in the road. That um, to have gratitude only for the good things doesn't work for me. When I have gratitude for even the really daunting things, it creates so much more richness and contrast in life because then I'm embracing the pieces that are extremely painful
mm,
and to take those in with all of your being to embody those pieces that are really painful. Then, when there's the tiniest bit of beauty or comfort or ease, it makes it stand out in this way that is um, awe-inspiring. That
mm.
that that then I get to really embrace that part too, and that contrast to me is such a beautiful, lovely part of life is to experience that contrast. And so part of my work in the world is to cultivate that belief in magic because I see that as magic. And so my interaction in the forest and um, I create these little doors to make fairy homes in the trees. That is to invite people out to experience the wonder and to get them dreaming or thinking about what magic exists there. And it makes my life so joyful to
Mm.
engage in that and to engage with the people who are exploring.
Yeah, the joy it comes into our conversation when you share about this. It is so. I love this quote by Einstein. I never know if I say it right, but you can view life as a miracle, or you don't. And and if you see it as a miracle, there's then you do accept both. It's not only the light or only the dark or only then it's both, and it becomes a rich tapestry, or a rich, like, abundant feast. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's really lovely. In fact, um, that quote is right here on my desk. There are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. This is a word burning that a friend of mine made for me. So
Well, that's the one I was talking about.
Yes, yes, I have it right here. So we are definitely on the same wavelength with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that um, for me, it's also been that this miracle in my life, or my life as a miracle, or me as a miracle, has really helped me in this area of resilience. This it's resilience for me is also a little bit like a muscle that you have to train. It's not there, when you don't pay any attention to anything, and and something happens. The resilience is not suddenly there. You have to like breathe toward it, saying, okay, so something is happening, and I can really go into all these responses, but I can also pause. Pause a little bit and just open to, okay, so what is actually happening? It's like you take a little bit of uh, not really a distance, because you're not disconnecting from it, but you open up a little bit more.
Right. You step into the place of objectivity, like you become objective.
Hmm.
And for me, there's a practice that builds resilience for me, and that is asking good questions. So I become very curious about life in general, whether it's something that I'm observing that is fascinating or wonderful, or it's something I'm observing that is really hard to look at. And one of the questions that I will ask if something is difficult is, I'm wondering what this could really be about. Like there's the face value of something that is very painful, and then there's the underlying message or teaching that lies within it. And we get to discover that, right? That if everything happens for us, not to us,
Hmm.
then there is some gift in it for me. And then I can ask that question, what is this really about? you know and just to put it out, I might not get the answer immediately. It could take days, months, but staying in the place of curiosity and asking good questions will lead me to um, a different awareness, a new perspective, an opening, and that's part of the excitement of life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could also feel when you were talking that um, I love thinking about, you know, the things that are happening as my teacher.
Mm.
But I think for a long time, I have thought that meant that I have to learn, you know, so that I have to find the answer to why something is happening, or to come better out of it, or, to, I don't know, grow and expand and blah, 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 blah. And at some point I felt, oh, no, 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 it's just a teacher, it's just showing me something. And that's actually enough. I don't have to, I don't have to do anything with it except really acknowledge that it is happening for me, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, a gentle teacher. As I
Hmm.
like the word gentle, that
Yeah.
there's not pushing, there's nothing we have to do. We just pay attention,
Yeah.
and it will guide us in some way,
Mm.
and we get to be the trusting observer of how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you want to share a little bit about how this time, which is, a little bit of a challenge for a lot of people, how you um, how do you keep yourself awake in this miracle, accepting of the miracle? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
So the question that I'm hearing is, how is it that someone can stay engaged and perhaps even in a place of balance about what just in general walking day to day with all of these stimuli that are can be negative in tone? Is that?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. um, and part of it truly is self-care, that to make sure that I'm nurturing myself first so that I can nurture other people. And so I have, my own little daily practice that I use to get centered and grounded, and that's a great way for me to start the day. And then listening for the things that are truly mine to do, because where I personally can go off track, if you will, is by stepping into things that are not mine to do, that
Mm.
I could do them, and I push into them, and and oftentimes it's because somebody's asked me to do them, but I don't resonate with it.
Mm.
So just paying attention to how I'm taking in the things that come into my awareness. Is it mine to do? Is it somebody else's? Can I lay this one down? How is it making me feel? And checking in moment to moment. So when I can do that for myself, it keeps my path more clear and clean. And it helps me to maintain the balance that I need to do life well, to step into the things that call my heart and really do that fully. And
Mm.
that keeps me in joy because it calls my heart, right?
Mm. Yeah. And is that this the way your book came about to be?
So yes, the book was a calling. It was a deep heart calling, and my book is titled "A Fierce Belief in Miracles,"
I love that
and
title.
I
It's such a
love the title too.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and and it's a memoir. It's about my life story and the trauma that I overcame, and at times didn't think I would overcome. But I always held out hope, and I always had this vision of how I could be in this place of wholeness. I just didn't know how to get there, and I learned along the path that one of the ways we get there is by letting go and not trying to control it all, not being in our head and going through the recipe of what somebody else dictates is the way there, because it's our own way that gets us there. We have our own path. And so, in writing the book, yes, it was truly a calling for me. And at times it was challenging. The things we're called to do are not always easy. It was not an easy book to write emotionally, but I gave myself the time and the space to do it in the best way I knew how, so that I could really nurture myself through it. And I'm grateful that I've gotten it published.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you saying that the things that you're called to are not always easy. And I can feel that also. It's like you like this circle, we knew it wanted to be birthed. But we can also feel like, it's my heart just goes every now and then, because then I don't know the English word, or something is happening, or it's, yeah, will we really get to the point where we want to be? Do we really connect? All these things that come up, and you cannot I can't do this, and say, okay, but I don't want to hear you. No, I have to go through it, and feel like, oh yeah, so I'm not just a little bit scared. I'm just a little bit scared that nobody's gonna listen, or they're not gonna agree, or they're not gonna, oh wow, oh yeah. And then it kind of sinks in my body to my like um, mm, here's that thing that I don't know the English word, where it's like the basin, the Yeah. And then I can hold space for it. And then I think, oh yeah, but I'm just following the calling, you
Yeah,
know?
and
And
what a
you're,
lovely thing for you to do that,
yeah.
because it takes courage to tune into that voice and to follow it and to allow it to guide you into places that do feel like we're not quite in our skin there,
Mm,
and yet we're doing a service to ourselves and to all other people when we stay in that place of what is our yes.
mm,
This
yeah.
is your yes, and this is something that you need to do that is calling to your heart. And even though you don't know all the steps, you're stepping into a place of trust and faith, which does take some courage, definitely. So
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah, and I like how we met at this, this course with Lynn Twist. She has written The Soul of Money, but she does a lot of things now with the Sophia age and about the rising of the divine feminine. And what we are talking about here is this resilience that comes from a deep place within. It's not a 5-step program that you do and then you're resilient. It has to come from deep within the feminine way. And then you cannot not listen anymore.
Yes. Yes, I do feel that for me anyway, it has taken a number of years to um, see to establish those legs beneath my table of belief that
Mm,
this is the way life works more smoothly and efficiently, is to be in that place of listening and trusting and moving forward toward the guidance of my heart.
mm, mm. Yeah, beautiful. So before we go to a praxis that you will take us through, is there something that we haven't touched that you think, oh, but that is something that really stands out for me when we talk about resilience? Or
Um, what comes up for me is I just encourage or invite people to experiment.
Mm,
Like, if you're not in the place where you know what it means to listen or to trust or to be building that resilience, to try something small, take a baby step, and tune into something that you haven't tuned into before. Stretch yourself a little bit in that direction of being more silent and observant, and see what comes in that's there to inform you. So I think that sometimes it can be a mystery what we're talking about. For me, it was. I didn't know how to step into that world, but I could see people doing it. And I think we're all here to like lead each other home. So whatever we can do, each of us in that direction is helpful. So taking baby steps, trying it out, experimenting in your own life is a
yeah.
good way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that because the this experimenting and trying your what works for you is so important. I think we're done with people there telling us how it works. you know you have to find your own way, you have to find your own wisdom, you have to whichever way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be this yeah, waking up inside of you, and whichever way works for you is the way that you're supposed to go.
right. And the only way you're going to know what works for you is to experiment.
Yeah.
And my background is in science, I'm a chemist. And
Mm,
so I have always been about scientific method and testing out things, and that's what I had to do in my life, is to figure out my way by experimenting and seeing what made me feel good and what didn't feel good. as far as listening and paying attention and gathering those messages and teachings from life. So you will, as you go along and practice those steps in your own life, you'll find your way, your authentic way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're strong believers in that, fierce believers in that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fierce belief in miracles.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So what do you want people to sit down, take a,
Yeah, so I was going to offer a little guided meditation that is one of my ways to ground myself and to rebalance things and just clear out what's no longer needed. So I would invite those listening to find a comfortable place to sit so that your feet are on the floor, and so uncross your legs if they're crossed. Get comfortable, sit back into your chair.
I'm
And
sitting here in a lotus position, so I'll just get my feet.
yeah, you definitely want your feet on the ground for this one because we're going to work on some grounding. So, so if you feel comfortable, if you would like to close your eyes, or you can soften your gaze. And I'm going to invite you to just begin by focusing on your breath, bringing it in gently and out gently. And set your intention to connect with the earth, with the sky, with yourself. We're going to take this moment to bring awareness to your body. Where is it that you hold tension? Just tune into those places. Where might you be holding some emotion? And as your breath goes in and out, just notice where your mind goes as you're searching through your body for those places that are calling out for attention. And if your mind wanders off, just gently call it back into your body. So imagine that you are a great tree and you're standing at the edge of a forest near a lake shore. It's a warm, sunny day. You can look around and notice your surroundings. The blue sky reflected in the clear water. Feel the sun on your branches and your leaves, on the trunk. As you breathe in, you smell the fragrance of flowers, of spruce trees, and you can hear the call of birds flying overhead. Now, from the pads of your feet, both feet, send down roots into the earth, deep down, and wrap those roots around stones, big stones. Those clear, strong roots. And so with each breath, we're going to allow that breath to help wash away any tension that is in your body. So we can focus first at the top of your head. And moving down your body slowly, visualize any tension riding the wave of your breath. Moving down your body, through the soles of your feet, through your roots, and into the earth. So over several breaths, allow yourself to release all the tension from your body from top to bottom. You may want to do this a few times. You may feel called to shrug your shoulders or to roll your head and neck or wiggle other body parts to release what's there. Feel free to do that. And remember to breathe as you release these tension spots. Now imagine that you are being squeezed like a toothpaste tube from the top of your head down to your feet. So slowly take that squeezer down the toothpaste tube to get any remaining tension out of your body. You're going to squeeze that toothpaste tube all the way down to your feet and allow that tension to go into your roots and into the earth. And you may want to repeat that a second time just to make sure you've got all that tension moved into the earth. And a reminder to breathe. So when your body feels clear, imagine squeezing out all of those roots so that they're emptied out into the earth, which will take that energy you no longer need and recycle it. Now I invite you to move your great tree a couple steps closer to the shore of the lake. And there your roots will immediately tap into an underground stream. Allow your roots to drink up the earth energy, for this energy to feed you and nourish you. So bring this energy up through your feet, through your legs, through your torso, flowing through all of your energy centers, up your arms, and up to the very crown of your head. Allow this process to continue, pulling up this earth energy from the underground stream, filling up your entire being. As you breathe in, breathe it up. Allow that energy to expand beyond your skin into your energy field, feeding you, nourishing you, nurturing you. And when you feel properly fed, I invite you to take one last breath, offering gratitude to the earth, to the waters of the earth. And then you can disengage your roots from those stones. Bring your attention back into your body. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Mm. Mm. Well, I'll talk about recharging. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels very nice. I like that toothpaste image. Could really feel, oh yeah,
Yeah.
going all the way down.
Yeah, I love that too. I can just, yeah, it's very visceral to have that squeezing out the tension.
Yeah,
It's a good way to clear it.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that wisdom and your
Thank
practice.
you. Yes,
And
thank
for
you. So
making
grateful to
time.
be.
Very, yeah, makes me so happy.
Me
Yeah.
too, Rika. This has been lovely.
Yeah. So, for whoever is listening, if you want to know more about Anne, you can read it on the page, and to check in for yeah, some more gifts that she has to share, and the beautiful things that she does. Um, well, I'll see you soon in our circle again.
I look forward to that.
Yes, and yeah, thank you so much, and have a beautiful day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.